In this video, you'll discover the best practices as to what you can and cannot drink while intermittent fasting. It's all too often that people tell me about their intermittent fast and then they begin to tell me what beverages they're having, what they're consuming, and it turns out they're not intermittent fasting at all. They're unknowingly breaking their fast. Now, the unfortunate part is that they're putting that effort in, but they're not getting the benefit back out, the good benefit that they could be getting if they were actually doing the fast correctly. So I'm going to break down in this video what you should and shouldn't have. And at the end of this video, I'm going to talk about ketones, whether you can have those while fasting, whether they benefit you. Some pretty interesting research has come out on that. So stick around to the end, but before we get started, I'm Dr. Zyrowski and welcome to the channel. If you're new to the channel, it's a pleasure to have you here. Be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and join our notification community, and I'm going to help you excel your health and your life. Now, I also want to say that in this video, I don't want to just tell you, don't do this and do this. I actually want to give you some context and understanding behind it so that when you have to make the decision whether you should have something while fasting, you're able to make that decision intelligently. So let's go ahead and dive right in. First on our list here is going to be sugar, okay? Now, for a lot of people, this is going to seem really obvious, but the thing is I actually do come across people who go, well, as long as I have less than 20 calories of sugar in my coffee, it's going to be completely fine because I was told that anything under 50 doesn't break your fast. Here's the thing, that's a slippery slope. And the thing is that when we talk about sugar in general, if we want to have a good fast, we do not want to be putting sugar in our beverages at all or consuming any type of beverage that has sugar in it. No, you shouldn't have 20 calories or less than soda when fasting and think that you're going to still maintain a fast. So in general, stay away from sugar, not good while fasting. So that one's more on the obvious side of things. One that's not so obvious is fats, okay? This is one that a lot of people get tripped up on. Now, the reason they get tripped up on it is because there's a lot of just misinformation out there. And I don't think anybody's trying to misinform you on the topic. It's more just like people doing different things, different styles of what they would consider fasting. So for instance, if you are someone who likes Bulletproof coffee, the Bulletproof company, they'll do a Bulletproof intermittent fast. Well, they allow you to put 200 to 300 calories of butter in your coffee, blend it up, and a lot of people love that. Truth is that when you put 200 to 300 calories of anything into your coffee, it is not going to be fasting. Okay, we have to make the distinguishment between fasting and keto. Those are two different things, and a lot of people actually combine them together as one. The truth is that when you're following a ketogenic diet, you're not just on a permanent fast, are you? No, you are in the state of ketosis following a ketogenic diet. Now, if we want to get the benefits of fasting and autophagy, we can't be putting 200 to 300 calories of fats into our coffee. So that is not fasting. Like I said, if you want to just maintain ketosis, perfectly fine, but you are going to break your fast. You can't have that many calories and maintain the fast. The other thing that people get tripped up is MCTs. We all know that these fats are good for us. They're definitely beneficial. MCTs are excellent for your brain. Now, if you're putting 100 calories of MCTs in your coffee, you are still breaking your fast because that is 100 calories of fat. You are consuming a food there. Your digestion's kicking in. You're making your body work, okay? So we want to make sure that we understand that that's keto, but that's not fasting. Now, for some people, that's a judgment call. They go, hey, I don't care. I'm maintaining a state of ketosis. I enjoy it. It gives me some calories. It gives me some energy in the morning. That's fine if that's what you want to do. Like I said, it's keto. Has benefits to it, no doubt. We don't know the benefits of MCTs, but in the same token, it's not fasting. So be aware of that. That's one that trips a lot of people up. Next on our list is proteins. Okay, proteins is one that trips people up too, typically in the way of essential amino acids. Now, here's what I do personally. Now, if I'm doing one meal a day and I get an opportunity to go work out and I'm in the fasted state and, I want to have some energy, and I want to also make sure that I'm giving my body the proper building blocks to build muscle, I will use essential amino acids during my workout, okay? And that's a judgment call for me. There's 5 calories in the essential amino acids, but it is a protein. It will technically break your fast. However, if you're using it when working out, you're going to utilize it very quickly. You're going to metabolize that very quickly. And the truth is that your body can really benefit from the energy you can get from the essential amino acids. And also if you're trying to build muscle, and something that you can benefit from highly as well. So for me, that's a judgment call. I utilize it. But in general, the proteins, the essential amino acids will break your fast. A lot of people go and do like 2 scoops of, essential amino acids or branch chain amino acids. And there's, some people that believe that you can still maintain the fasted state while doing that. Well, you can't because it is a protein. So if you're going to make the judgment call, like, putting fats in your coffee, or maybe you want a little bit of essential amino acids to give yourself an exercise boost, or, have those proper building blocks because you are trying to build some muscle, that's a judgment call. But in general, we don't want to be doing that thinking that we're maintaining fasting. So I know of some people who basically will go and they're looking for some energy in the morning. They'll go and do a scoop of amino acids and they're not even associating it with a workout. So that is going to break your fast. Be careful of that and understand that that's the reality behind it. Next is carbs. Okay. So we want to stay away from carbs when we're fasting. And for some people, like I said, this can be one that's more obvious, right? But there are also a pretty big group of people out there that, well, they look at it and go, well, it's 50 calories of carbs or it's 20 calories of carbs. And as long as I'm going 50 or less, I'm still okay and I'm still in the fasted state. That is not true. You will break your fast. You're not going to get benefits of autophagy and everything if you are consuming 50 calories of white bread. Okay. It's just not going to happen. So stay away from carbs in general. I find this one to be more on the obvious side of things, but some people are going to have a problem with this. Next is artificial sweeteners. Now, this is one that a lot of people will get stumbled up on as well, because there's a lot of people out there that say, well, you can have artificial sweeteners. So people are drinking these energy drinks loaded with artificial sweeteners because they want all that caffeine while they're fasting. There's a lot of reasons behind that is not healthy to have all that caffeine in the first place, especially when fasting. But the artificial sweeteners in general can, for one, make you hungry. They can stimulate a hunger response. The other thing that I don't like about them is that they have a neurotoxic response on the body as well. One of my patients is a pilot, and one of the things he tells me is the airline company that I work for does not allow me to have any type of artificial sweeteners, period, because it will delay response time and it can have a neurological effect, making them just not quite as active neurologically. So we have to be careful with that, and we understand that that's not a good thing to have. And lastly is just calories in general. Okay, this is where a lot of people are going wrong. And like I put carbs up here and you're going, oh, come on, this is so obvious. But for a lot of people, when you are looking at, 50 calories or less, well, what does that mean? You know what I mean? What does that mean for having 50 calories or less? And so a lot of people just, look at this in a very general way and say, well, I can have 50 calories of this, I can have 50 calories of that, and I'm still maintaining my fast. But we want to stay away from calories in general, okay? Let's go ahead and talk about what you can have. We talked about what you can't have. Now, what can you have? Water. Okay. So obviously we can drink an abundance of water. It's very important to make sure that we're staying hydrated while we are fasting. Some of the best practices is going to be some sort of mineral water. That's going to be really good. We want to make sure that we're drinking a purified water. It's important too. If you're drinking city water, you're getting all that fluoride in it. There's chlorine in it. I mean, they put the chlorine in it to help kill bacteria. There's a lot of benefit to that we're not drinking water that has, that's giving us bacterial infections and stuff like that. But the bad part is that it's got all those chemicals in it. Okay. There's even pharmaceuticals in water anymore because so many people are taking hormones and it's all going down into the drain system and coming back through our water. So we got to be careful with that. Make sure you're drinking purified water, and it's even more important if you're drinking, if you're doing one meal a day, to make sure that you're drinking some sort of mineral water. I know that with like 16 and 8, it's not that big of a thing for me, but when it pours into one meal a day, like I have to make sure that I'm drinking something that has minerals in it, electrolytes in it. Sparkling water is also very beneficial. I talk about that quite a bit because it helps you feel satiated. What we have to watch out for is we're not getting a lot of the flavored stuff, getting the sparkling water with the artificial sweeteners in it. We just want to get good old plain mineral water here, okay? So this is a nice thing that you can drink while fasting. Now let's talk about apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar in general is going to be really good to have while fasting. I'm a huge fan of it. I'm a big advocate of it because it's good for your gut health. It's good for making your stomach more acidic. It's good for giving you those enzymes and probiotics. But the thing is that some people go a little bit too far with the apple cider vinegar. You start putting in a bunch of additives, it can actually throw some people out of fast. Okay, so I'm in general okay with somebody squeezing a half a lemon into their apple cider vinegar or a half a lime. But what happens is a lot of people will start putting in a little bit of a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and it just kind of spirals out of control. So one of the things I've done as of lately is I've just really doubled down and stuck to good old apple cider vinegar with ice water, maybe a little bit of a couple drops of stevia is something I'm okay with as well. But when it comes to a lot of the additives, one of the things that gets a little bit of a slippery slope on that topic is that some people, due to insulin resistance and just the insulin response in general, can have a negative one, okay? So that they can actually start having, their insulin and their blood sugar start to go up when they start adding some of these things in. So we have to be careful with it. And that's why apple cider vinegar and keeping it very simple in general is going to be one of my favorite ways to do that. It drops your blood sugar down even further, can help you get into the state of autophagy a little bit faster when it starts acting on these metabolic hormones. And by the way, if you want to learn the best time to drink apple cider vinegar, I did a real powerful video on that. You can check that out right up here. I'll also put it in the description below. Now, herbal tea and coffee, okay, these two right here we'll do together because a lot of people have the same problems with them. Now, in general, herbal tea and coffee are completely fine, but when it comes to adding things in, this is where it gets a little bit dicey. So cream, can you put cream in? Now, I'm not a big fan of adding cream in. I know that there's all these rules out there where you can add 2 tablespoons or, all these different numbers out there. But the truth is that it really comes down to you as an individual, your insulin response, do you have some resistance? What's going on? And a lot of people too, when they go and add cream to their coffee, they're adding in a very generous amount. A lot of times they think, 2 tablespoons, dump, and they put half the bottle in, right? So we got to be careful with the cream situation here. I'm not a fan of putting cream in. Stevia, I'm okay with. Butter, we already talked about that topic, okay? You're putting in too many calories. You can maintain keto with that, but you can't maintain a fasted state. So I'm not a fan of doing the butter. Now, the topic of ketones. I really like this here because when I started investigating ketones with intermittent fasting, I was like, wow, that's really fascinating because you have these people who can benefit from those ketones in the way of, first of all, they can give you a good dose of energy. The other thing is they're really good for your brain health. I mean, you get these people who have neurological problems, these ketones are pretty powerful. And so there's a lot of benefit that you could get, and especially when fasting, because it's not a bunch of calories. It's something that can be highly beneficial. Your brain's going to use them right away. And so when I saw this, totally fascinated on the topic. Now, one of the things that was pretty interesting about it is that when I dug into the research, basically what I found is that when you take ketones, when intermittent fasting, here is what happens. The fatty acid mobilization starts to go down. Your free fatty acids start to go down. So what does this mean? This essentially means that if we use ketones while intermittent fasting, it actually is going to slow down the fat burning process, okay? So that's why I put choices here. Now, this is all about choices. Everything you do in life is about choices, right? So here's the choice that you can make. If you want to get the benefit of the energy and the, brain benefits and the neurological benefits of the ketones while fasting, you can do that. But fat burning is going to it's going to go down, okay? So ketones, fat burning, here's what happens. Ketones go up, fat burning goes down. And so if you're doing intermittent fasting and your main goal is to really get that fat mobilized, start burning some of that fat, you don't want to add in ketones. Now, if you're pretty happy with your state in your body and how it is, and you're not really focused on fat burning, one of the things that you can do is you can add some ketones in because it will give you that brain energy and just, good, healthy energy in general. And it can be very beneficial. So anyway, I like the topic of ketones. I think that I would probably go back and forth personally. Sometimes it's like, you know what? I just want that energy. I'm doing 1 meal a day. Maybe, deep into the fast, I put in a little bit of ketones, exogenous ketones in order to give me a boost. But if you want to burn fat, remember, it will blunt the fat burning because you're adding those fats into your system and your body's going to utilize those first versus using the fat on your body. So interesting topic. It's all about choices. What choice would you make there? What one would you rather have, the ketones or the fat burning? Because the ketones show enormous amount of benefits to the body. So it's all about choices. Put in the comments what you do. Give this video a thumbs up. And if you want to learn more about intermittent fasting, watch this video right here where I break down the best times to fast. When we look at the best hours for intermittent fasting, 16 and 8 is really powerful simply because it's very sustainable and it's very easy for people to get into.